So the M4 Carbine is generally in 5.56 by 45mm NATO gas-operated magazine-fed carbine assault rifle, developed in the United States during the 1980s, and basically it's a shortened version of the M16A2. It's extensively used by the US Armed Forces in many conflicts, including the Marine Corps. And yeah, very popular weapon because it's super accurate, super versatile. It generally is pretty good at most ranges, and in most games that I've played, the M4 is a super reliable weapon. So we're going to have a look at it. Let's shoot over to the range and let's have a look at the version that's in Insurgency Sandstorm. So here we go, the M4A1. It's, as I said, it's generally chambered in 5.56 times 45 NATO, which it is in this game. The fire rate is 741 rounds per minute. The velocity is pretty good at 910. It has great penetration is 319. Very little horizontal recoil at 7, and the vertical recoil at 25, but very manageable. And yeah, generally the magazine capacity is a 30 round mag, which is fantastic. So let's have a wee bit of a shoot against the wall, and we'll see what it looks like just at stock without any attachments on it. So here we are at the customary wall, and we'll just make sure we've got it on full auto, and we'll just hit fire and see what it does. It kind of kicks straight up, but a little bit to the left there. Yep, a little bit, pushes a little bit to the left. Single fire, let's hit fire on single fire and see what it does. So there you go, pretty much the same. Yep, straight up. So as it says by the stats, definitely a lot of vertical recoil. It does look very much like an M16. You can see the sights there. But let's get into the builds, and yeah, they're pretty standard, but there's one variation that I can, because of the way the vertical recoil is, there's two variations. So let's add some stuff to the gun. So the usual story. You can go with what particular sights work for you. I do tend to run the hollows on this. Now, this is where my build might differ from yours. You can either go flash hider or you can go compensator. You don't really need a compensator on this gun because the horizontal recoil is so low. You can see that will drop it down to 4. So generally I go with a flash hider on this gun. And this is where I generally have two variations. So I generally either go with aiming grip, because I find that even though that vertical recoil is quite high, it's quite manageable. Or you can, if you're not confident with that, go with the recoil grip, and you can see that's dropped that down fairly significantly. We're going to go, you can either go with the drum mag or the extended mags, up to you. Drum mag will give you a 50 mag capacity, which is quite nice. And the extended give you a 35. I generally go extended, but if you want a little bit more ammo, then go with the drum. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Laser sight, as always. If you like tracer rounds, chuck the tracer rounds on. You can. There's all kinds of nice aesthetics that you can put on this, like that. That's quite nice, the two-tone. And then there is one last thing, which is a flat top. Now, the flat top removes the weapon's triangular front sight and allowing you for a clearer view. It depends on the sight you're running. I generally don't run this, so that is the build right there. If you want to note it down. And yeah, let's go and do some testing and see what it looks like. This is my go-to gun. This is absolutely my go-to gun in the game. If I'm struggling, then this is the gun that I will use, and this is the setup that I generally use. Where we at full auto, and you can see that hardly moves, even though it's saying a lot of vertical recoil. The gun's hardly moving. And that's why I love it so much. Doesn't matter what range it's at either. It's super versatile. And yeah, totally, if you're looking for a nice balanced gun, this is the gun for you. Now you can see now that we've got single fire, it becomes a laser. Look at this. Even with the long range, let's see if we can hit something at long range. Look at that, it's super accurate. Even though that vertical recoil is supposedly very high, it's bang on target, and that's why I love this gun so much. So one last thing I will say, the beauty of the M4 is that it is available in both security and insurgents class, so you can have the gun on both. You can have the setups, you can vary the setups and just see which one works for you. That's my recommendation, that's what I run. My accuracy is super high on it. I tend to get very high at kill games with that setup, and like I said, if I'm really struggling, if I'm playing around with other guns and they're not working for me, I can always rely on M4A1 to bring it home for me. So there you go, guys, that's another weapons guide for you for Insurgency Sandstorm. I hope it's super useful. I hope these weapons guides are super useful for you to try and get your head around some guns in the game, and to try some new ones, and have a look at setups and just see what works for you. Yeah, if they have been useful, I would love to hear your comments. If you've got any suggestions for other weapons, please let me know down in the comments below. A like rating is always appreciated. It really does help the channel. If you haven't hit that red sub button, have a look around. If you like what you see, consider subscribing, and we will catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.